Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health, Hazelton Campus.
Hello everyone, and thanks for hanging out in Left Field with me, Ken Cara. You're about to meet the Ryan family from Whitehaven. After watching this story, you'll get the feeling that while on road trips, no one in the Ryan family yells shotgun. Instead, they all race for the keys. The Ryans are a racing family, and they love to talk about the sport.
Sam was away for work, so my mom looked after Emily at the track, and I ran the car myself. So Emily was 3 weeks old and at her first race.
Like they really love to talk about racing.
So this is my second helmet that I've had throughout my racing career. The other one was white, and I've always had pink polka dots on it. It's kind of like the only girly thing I could think of. I wanted to be girly, but not too girly.
I still don't think you understand just how much they love to share their love of motorsports.
They're all different rules. So this is called the Formula V because it starts with a Volkswagen motor. Actually, all the parts are from a 1965 Volkswagen. Volkswagen front end, Volkswagen engine, Volkswagen transmission. That's called the Formula V.
After about 2 hours of talking about racing and driving, Sam Ryan, who teaches defensive driving for a living, walks me to my car and shows me how to properly adjust my mirrors. It changes my life and really drives home the point that the Ryan family's passion for racing and each other is something special. This story starts small, like toy cars small in a city in Pennsylvania and another in Canada.
When I was a little girl, most girls wanted dolls. I had a Hot Wheels set with, the orange track with the red things that put it together, the tongues. So I always played in my driveway in the dirt and made tracks, and I would draw tracks and drive it, and I had toy Jeeps and stuff. And then at the time I had a boyfriend who was a crew chief for one of the other cars, and he was gone every weekend. So the only way to see him was to go to the track. And so I liked it so much that I started to go without him. And that's when I met Sam when I was there.
I actually started out racing slot cars, the little electric slot cars at a place called Auto World up in Scranton. I started hanging around at Auto World, sweeping the floors and stuff like that, and I used to work for credit. I never got paid cash, I worked for credit. So I would, I'd work a day and then I'd buy a couple slot cars with my credit and do that. And then after we did the 24-hour race, I actually made a car called the Ryan Express, which was a copy of the car that we raced for the 24-hour race. It had special magnets and special tires and stuff on it. And I used to get paid $1 a car for every one that I modified. And I made thousands of those cars to sell, in the catalog. And I remember one time Mario Andretti actually called Oscar and wanted one of the cars. His sons, Michael, was racing the slot cars at the time, and they wanted a slot car, so we built a special slot car for him. So that was kind of the connection with Auto World was really what got me into cars.
Flash forward a few years to a meet cute at Mosport in Canada, also known as the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Ontario.
So I raced up there, and she volunteered as a nurse, so I would see her at the track, and that's how we met, and I used to crash a lot. So, so I got to see the nurse a lot.
Well, I'm from Toronto. I've been an emergency nurse since 1988, and I was working in Toronto, but volunteering at Mosport, which is a famous race car track up in Toronto. And I did that for a couple of years, and they kept announcing on the overhead once in a while, Sideways Sam from Blakesley, Pennsylvania, and he was like, a really good driver, and they were always talking about him, and they'd have articles about him in the Canadian papers and stuff. I never knew what he looked like. I had no idea, but I just heard about Sideways Sam. And then I did meet him through common friends.
There's an old saying, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a Formula Model V, or something like that.
I remember driving kid carts around the pit. Not kid carts, kid racers around the pits. The little plastic battery-operated cars that looked like race cars, and they were the coolest thing ever.
I was going to say, you seem that you liked it since then.
I loved it, yeah. I was so proud of my dad and my mom. It was so cool being there, and it was really a community. I loved everybody. They were like my family.
Emily Ryan graduated from kid racers to go-karts, and over spring break in 2019, she attended the Berto Roos Racing School in Florida. The school started at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, and her dad used to be an instructor there, and her mom also went through the program. At 16, Emily's working on getting her Pennsylvania driver's license and her racing license. Her mom Susan and her dad Sam compete in the Challenge Cup Series. In 2018, in the Masters division, Sam finished third in the point standings, and Susan finished 7th out of 27 drivers.
I am competitive, and I think I make Sam more competitive because through the years of us racing Neons, we also raced a Honda Civic. He would race at a track with the car, and then I would do it, and then as I got better, I was getting up to his speed, well then he would have to go better.
Speaking of competitive, how about this story I got after asking Susan if, as a nurse, she's ever worried about her family on the racetrack.
So, do I worry about crashes? No, not really. And even Emily, she's been racing since she was 5. And I think the second year of Kid Kart, I used to take her because Sam travels for work all the time. And I would take the go-kart. They're easy enough to look after on the weekend. And one time at Oroville, she was doing really good. A kid in front of her spun and didn't stay on the brake, went right in front of her, drove into her, and she flipped upside down. And she didn't fall out of the go-kart. She was upside down on her head with the go-kart on top of her. And that was about pretty much the scariest thing. And luckily it was right in front of me, so I hopped the fence and I right to her. And you know, as an emergency nurse for, you know, a minute or two, are you okay? Can you move your hands, move your legs, you know, anything bothering you or anything? And she stood up and I said, are you okay? And she goes, yeah. She said, I'm pretty hungry. Can we have an egg sandwich? And I said, yeah, okay. I said, you know, maybe we should sit the rest of the day out, because at the time it didn't look like there was anything wrong with the go-kart, although later we found out it was the chassis was twisted. And she's pretty competitive. And there was a girl who kept saying, I'm fast, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you. And she said, no, I wanna go out, I'm gonna beat that girl. And so even Emily's got it in her, I think.
The plan for Emily's Formula V, which is still being built, brings our story closer to the finish line.
So the car that we're putting together for Emily to actually race vintage racing is called a Caldwell D13. And it's actually the same as my second car that I ever raced. So it's kind of full circle that she's gonna race in the same kind of car that I race, which is the number 74 red and white car. And we're thinking about painting it the same way, so it'll look like my original car.
Sam hopes to leave his daughter this lesson along with his paint scheme.
I just like driving, you know, and it doesn't really matter what. You know, a lot of guys try to climb the ladder of racing, and I did a little bit. I got up to, you know, low-level pro racing, and it takes a lot of money, and you know, you have to always sponsors and stuff like that, but the thing is, I always find it funny because you see a lot of these younger guys and they race several years, and then, you know, once their parents stop paying for it, then they stop racing. And, you know, my parents, they supported it, but they didn't have the money to pay for the racing. So if I'm not racing the Formula Vs or something like that, I'm just happy to go down and race at Mahoning Valley or race at Evergreen with a stock car. I just like driving the race cars and having fun competing.
After all this talk about racing, I only have one more simple question.
We do always ask each other who's our favorite race car driver. Like, I'll always ask my dad, who's your favorite race car driver? And he'll always answer either me or my mom, and I'll ask my mom, she'll always answer me or my dad. And I didn't really want to follow that pattern, so I'd say Graham Rahal, just because it's just the coolest thing to say. Graham Rahal, it's kind of like a joke.
The racing Ryans laugh a lot, but their driving is no joke.
Coming up next, we'll talk with 2 members of the North Schuylkill baseball team and play a brand new game here on Out of Left Field.
Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus.
Thanks for coming back to Left Field. Everyone put everything away and take out a piece of paper and a pen. Still gives me the chills when I hear that. Well, it is time for a pop fill-in-the-blank quiz with members of the North Schuylkill baseball team. Ken Cara here at North Schuylkill High School. We're going to be talking baseball today. Baseball season going pretty well here so far for the North Schuylkill baseball team. I'm with pitchers Reggie Crawford and Zach Stokes. Pressure on this segment because if it goes well with you guys, I'm going to keep doing this. If not, we're never going to do it again. How do you deal with pressure? I feel as baseball players, it comes up, but how do you deal with that? How have you learned to deal with pressure?
I just try to clear my mind. Just making sure that I have a clear mind, not thinking about things and just reacting helps a lot.
Okay, now it sounds easy, just clear your mind, but how do you do that? Is there a way to do that? My wife's trying to get me to meditate now. She has me like looking at things, closing my eyes. What do you do to clear your mind?
Like if I'm playing and I just feel out of it, I'll just take like a minute to close my eyes and just like completely relax myself. And like if I'm on the field, I can't do that, so I'll just like take a deep breath or a few of them and then it just resets me.
Let's try. Here we go. We're going to fill in the blank with Zach Stokes and Reggie Crawford from the North Schuylkill baseball team. Reggie, I'm going to start with you. Zach is trending on social media for baseball. #blank.
We're coming for you.
We're coming for you? Is there an explanation for that? Is that like a team slogan? Or?
That's just pretty much, I say that a lot.
Do you that?
Yeah, like if we win, we're coming for you.
Okay, now over to you, Zach. Same thing. Reggie is trending for baseball.
UConn.
UConn? Reference to where you will be attending school in the fall. How excited are you for it? I know you're in baseball.
I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Zach, Reggie has just struck out in a big spot. He comes back in the dugout and blank.
Sits down, relaxes.
Chills out?
Yep.
That right? Pretty calm?
Yeah, I don't react in any way. I just get back in the dugout. Yeah.
Okay, so other side of that, Zach has just struck out in a big spot, comes back to the dugout and blank.
Throw something.
He gets a little animated in that, which I guess you see both ends of the spectrum with people, right? Like some people are more animated than others.
Yeah, because I try to relax.
It's
It's just so hard.
I believe that. Okay, Reggie, over here. Zach will forever be remembered in North Schuylkill baseball history because of blank.
Starting the Snicker trend.
Snicker trend?
Yeah, I eat a Snickers before every game.
Is everyone else eating Snickers now?
Yeah. My freshman year,
Okay.
like in JV, I started eating Snickers, and like gradually everyone started to eat it. And I was like, I take notice of that. I thought,
How far before the game? I mean, how long is
like,
this? Is it?
like 10 minutes before the game.
You guys are in high school. It's all good. And all right, Reggie will forever be remembered in North Schuylkill baseball history for blank.
Being a stud.
And what do you mean when you say that? Just like, has he always been like that? I mean, when Reggie came in, since you've known him, was he always kind of he had that talent?
Yeah, he's always been athletic, like really athletic over the years, but this year it's like really kicking in.
Really?
Yeah, you can really tell.
You feeling it this year?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Next one. Okay, Zach, start with you this time. The 2019 North Schuylkill baseball offense is blank.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable?
Yeah.
Do you? I'm all gonna ask you that too. The North Schuylkill baseball offense is blank.
Consistent.
Okay. How confident were you guys? This confident heading into the season, and it's built up throughout the year.
Well, we knew we were going to be good, but I don't think we knew we were going to be undefeated up to this point. But like, yeah, our confidence was always there.
How do you keep the confidence in? I want to say in check, but also feed off it, because I guess you need that kind of emotion and confidence. But how do you try to also keep it in check, or do you just keep thriving off it, keep rolling?
You just thrive off of it. Like it just motivates you. Like keeping the goal of staying undefeated, like helps a lot. So, yeah, I would say just thriving off of it.
Okay, here we go. Zach's biggest superstition is blank. If he has one, is it the Snickers thing? We might have gone over this already.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Do you need the Snickers now? Like, is it a thing where if like there's a Kit Kat laying around or something, you're like, this isn't gonna work?
Yeah, I need a Snickers.
Are you superstitious?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, how about Reggie? I mean, I don't know about him. He seems pretty. Reggie's biggest superstition is blank.
I don't know if he really has one, to be totally honest with you.
Do you have one?
Not really. I just I have like a routine before I go in the box.
Blank is the second best swimmer on the North Schuylkill baseball team.
Nate Burke.
Nate Burke?
Yeah.
Is he on the swimming team?
No, but he's good.
He's pretty good.
He's
Have you now? People who might not know, Reggie was a state champion swimmer as well. Totally baseball this year though. But have you like raced Nate or?
I mean, we used to race at his house.
Okay.
Like he's actually really good.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you agree? I mean, blank is the second best swimmer.
I mean, I never really saw anyone swim on the team.
How good of a swimmer are you? Let me ask.
I'm awful.
Not too good.
I mean, I could swim.
Yeah, but not like.
Not, yeah.
Yeah, I get winded. I'd worry about myself in open water. Okay. We'll start with Zach. After Coach Brayford won his 200th game, the team blank.
Dump Gatorade on him.
Okay. Whose responsibility was that?
Me, Reggie, and Brandon Rockwell.
Okay. Guys are both pitchers. Reggie, to start with you. Zach has got 2 strikes on a guy. Here comes the blank.
Curveball.
Curveball? Agree with that?
Yeah.
Have you worked on your curveball throughout the years? Is this? I always wondered with pitchers because I couldn't. I was terrible at baseball, but I mean, I guess the off-speed stuff. Does that come later? Talk about working on your curveball.
Well, depending on what batter's up, like usually for like the first 2 batters, I'll just throw like fastballs, and then if it's like a good 3-hitter, I'll throw a curveball.
I feel like people then know this. They obviously might scout you guys and take a look and say, okay. But even in baseball, sometimes I guess if you know what's coming, if you do it well enough, no one's hitting that.
No.
That's what you got to do. Huh?
If you keep it away from them and in the dirt or something like that, I don't think they'll know what's coming, but gotta keep it down.
All right, same thing. Reggie has 2 strikes on a guy. Here comes the blank.
Curveball.
Curveball. Same thing for you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Does it feel as good as me when I play baseball games on like Xbox and I'm going to throw the off speed with 2 strikes and I'm like, oh my God, I painted that car. You got
Feels just as good, yeah.
See, I'm living the dream when I'm doing that. I think I have RBI baseball like 16, so I don't have the show for Xbox. Okay. Reggie is picking where to eat after the game. I guess we're going to blank.
Red Robin.
Red Robin? That be the case?
Yeah, I like Red Robin.
What do you get when you go to Red Robin? Where's the closest Red Robin?
I would say Hamburg.
Hamburg?
I'm pretty sure. But I would get a burger. I like burgers.
Is that why you like it so much?
Yeah, they have good burgers.
Zach is picking where we're going to eat after the game. I guess we're going to blank.
Arby's.
Arby's curly fry guy, or you got to get the Arby's sauce?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
both.
And what a beef and cheddar.
So start the day with the Snickers, end with the beef and cheddar.
You got it.
Hashtag undefeated here in North Schuylkill. All right, we're going to end on this because this is awesome. Blank is the best candy bar of all time.
Snickers, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I did it, yeah.
Snickers.
I was going to keep going with this interview, but I feel that's where we have to end. So I hope this interview left you satisfied. Thank you both, Reggie and Zach, for joining us today. After this break, the story of a Hazleton area football player battling kidney disease who's not giving up and is also giving back. Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus. Welcome back to Out of Left Field. I wouldn't have blamed sports superfan Kellen Warner if he didn't want to do an interview during the NCAA tournament. But Warner, a football player at the Hazleton Area High School, is a nice guy, and the topic was very important to him. Kellen Warner made a good early impression on Hazleton Area High School head football coach Mike Brennan.
Well, I first noticed him running around the field here in the freshman team last season, in the 2017 season, and very good athlete, plays hard, plays tough, making plays on defense, running the team as a quarterback, so it was intriguing then. Then you start to get to know him in the offseason a little bit more. With his workouts here, he's real quiet, always on task, always very disciplined, very focused, does his job in a weight room, works extremely hard. Always lathered up, one of those guys that's always, you can tell he's working hard, he's trying to get better. Warner, a quarterback and defensive back, had his number called in a varsity game for the first time during his sophomore season in 2018. And I'll tell you how we noticed maturity the first time. We're playing Wallen-Paulpack in a tight game up there, this year, week 5. He's playing corner, and they're throwing the football, and it's the end of the half, and they're stretching the field on us, and he's doing everything the way he's supposed to do it. Disciplined, sound, fundamental, focused like he always does. Nothing gets behind him. And you look at this, to me, that's a sign of toughness and leadership. For what he's done in the offseason prepare. He didn't have a ton of reps to prepare for that moment, but when he got in the moment, he was fully prepared. And that's what competitors do. That's what good football players do, and that's what leaders do. He was able to take that role at that time, and he was really productive, and he certainly gained the respect of his upper-class teammates that night and the coaches. Behind a helmet and underneath pads, it's hard to tell what a person is feeling. Are they excited? Are they scared? Are they both? Having IgA nephropathy, a kidney disease, is a bit like always wearing a helmet and pads. To the outside world, it's hard to tell what's going on inside. Warner's mother, Nicole, talks about this fact. She's the founder of the KAIGAN Foundation. KAIGAN stands for Kellen Against IgA Nephropathy.
We started this foundation because people would say to me, well, he looks great. And really, he does look great on the outside, but in the inside, little by little, it kills them. It kills their kidney, and they go into renal failure, and then they're on dialysis. And we want to educate people, and it's not people's fault that they don't understand what kidney disease is, and that's where we come in. And on our website we have a bunch of information on kidney disease, what kidney disease patients go through. So educating people more gets more people involved. It's a ninth silent killer in the United States. So why not get involved and spread that education and that awareness and say, you know what, there's a real problem here. We need to be more aware of it and help out, because you never know in your part of your life who's going to be touched by it.
It's the first day of the NCAA basketball tournament. Kellen Warner and some of his friends are at a fundraiser for the KAIGAN Foundation at Damon's Grill in Hazleton. Warner steps away from the TVs for a bit to shoot some hoops and share his story.
When do you remember sports being a part of your life?
From what my mother tells me, my first word was ball.
Oh, really?
So I mean, it kind of just stuck, I guess, ever since birth.
Whose fault was that? Was your dad like throwing, or do you know?
I kind of just love sports ever since
Why?
growing up. I don't know, just
All about it.
kind of just, yeah, I'm all about it. It's kind of like a happy place for me, I guess.
Warner grew up playing soccer, baseball, basketball, football, and he gave ice hockey a try. It's Warner's happy places, the fields and courts on which he plays, that have helped him through his fight with IgA nephropathy.
I think that if it wasn't for some of the sports, I think his road might be tougher. I mean, the fact that he's athletic, does basketball at the Y, the Cougar football is working out 3-4 times a week. Him and his buddies also work out aside from the scheduled workouts and things like that. I mean, I think on treatments and on steroids and things like that if he wasn't as active as he was, then there could be other problems that come along with that.
Warner was diagnosed when he was 11 years old. This interview took place just before his 16th birthday.
Obviously, I mean, my first initial thought was just living.
Yeah,
I want to stay alive, but it was definitely sports. I mean, I asked the doctor, I was like, is this going to affect anything on my future plans of just playing sports or anything like that, having fun? And he said that it had no effect. That definitely put a big smile on my face.
Warner is a big Penn State football fan and has dreams of walking out of the tunnel at Beaver Stadium as part of the Nittany Lion football team one day. Now entering his junior season on the Hazleton Area High School football team, he's in a battle for the starting quarterback spot.
How much does it affect you now? You're doing athletics at a high level. I mean,
back in December, I relapsed, as maybe you read or not, but I was doing good, and in December, they some of my levels were messed up, so we basically had to go through the whole thing again, and some new processes, some new medicines and stuff like that. So I mean, it definitely took a toll on my body once again. Just the factors that lead into being an athlete, and the tiredness and gaining the excessive weight and stuff like that. So I mean, it definitely impacted me as an athlete now, but
doesn't, deter you? You're still like, hey, I want to walk out of that tunnel one day in Beaver Stadium, come hell or high water, I want to make this happen.
Yeah, it definitely pushes me.
Warner has gone through chemotherapy recently to try and put the kidney disease in remission. During his latest bout with IgA nephropathy, his Cougar teammates and coaches assured him he wasn't in the fight alone. It's not the first time he felt a lot of support coming from his corner.
One quick little story, a couple years ago when he had one of his first diagnoses, and they told me he had to go on a special diet. All of his core friends went on the same diet. To me, that's a testament to to your core group of friends.
Warner recognizes all the support he gets and the fact that others aren't so lucky.
What do you hope to, with the foundation and everything, what do you hope to accomplish? First, personally, because it seemed like it helped you and your family deal with what you were going
Definitely.
through.
It got us closer, yeah.
Yeah?
But I don't know, we just want to help kids just like me that, can't afford or have the privileges that I have. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed to have the parents I have. Yep. They do everything for me. If I didn't have them, I really don't know where I'd be right now.
Whereas Warner, he's playing, competing, having fun, and inspiring.
I think as adults we continue to learn. We learn a lot from these student athletes, and certainly all of us could take a little lesson from the Kellen Warners of the world, and this young man in particular, for what he does every day and what he has to deal with, the circumstances that make his day-to-day activities a little more difficult than most.
That's it, game over. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you want to watch more episodes, check out SSP TV on YouTube. All right, sports fans, until next time, take it easy.